Anyway, so on that very exciting note, hello
Sorry.
everyone. Now we're live. No, it's okay. We always get into some kind of fuckery before we get started or after we get started and are streaming. So anyway, hello. We're here to do our monthly-ish character creation stream. I say ish because, you know, we're the worst and stuff happens.
Life
get
has been
sick
in the
and-
way recently.
Yeah.
Shut the not right. Where's my mute button?
Oh, we're doing so good. We're off to a great start. Anyway,
You know
so,
what I did? I actually tried to mute this before I went on the thing, and then it didn't. And now I've got an ad that's going to be another 10 seconds.
That sounds about right.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, right? Oh, you guys froze up on my end, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, I can see that.
Can you still hear us though?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, that's just weird. It froze on stream. But it was doing that for the Vectair 2 yesterdays ago, so I don't know. Maybe Twitch just hates all of us. Anyway, so I'm Rick. You guys probably know me. You know, it is my channel after all. But with me as always is Ellie. Ellie, who are you? Where do we find you?
I'm Ellie. I'm also everywhere. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. So you'll find me Pleasure Nerd.
I don't know if it was doing
I'm an
it for
artist.
you guys, but,
I'm bad at this whole thing.
I don't know if it was doing it for you guys, but it really cut out for me. And I know all the things, but for people who don't know who you are, I don't know if that went through.
I mean, I've got the stream there, and I was animated, and I could see me being animated, so I don't know. Anyway, for anyone who is here that didn't know, I am Ellie. I am also Pleasure Nerd everywhere. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Anywhere there's a Pleasure Nerd, it will be me. Yeah, I'm an artist. I was going to say I predominantly work in digital art, but that is now a lie. I do a lot of alcohol markers, do a lot of like very quick, well, they're quick for me, and then I speed them up even more for you guys. 30-minute drawings that, and then post them. Yeah, really enjoy making characters to put into a meat grinder.
Excellent. And, you know, people who follow this channel probably recognize Aaryn, but Aaryn, who are you?
I'm Aaryn. I see you frozen, but
in a really happy way.
Yeah, at least I'm not doing really great Keisha things, which I feel like she always gets best expressions. I'm Aaryn. You can find me. I have my own social medias, but I don't use them. So you can find me at Even Footing Games on Instagram and Twitter, because I don't do Twitter anymore. Sorry. Oh no, Instagram and TikTok. That's what I meant.
I was going to say, we went on this whole thing about how we're terrible with Twitter.
Nope. Yeah. Yep. TikTok.
Find you on Instagram and Twitter because you don't use Twitter.
Yeah. No. TikTok. Sorry.
That's okay.
The clock app.
So
yes.
Today we're going to be talking about character creation. You know, that's the whole point of the stream. And the system we are discussing.
It was to go on ADHD tangents.
That too. That's the subplot. But the system that we're talking about today is Kids on Bikes. So, Aaryn, anything you want to say about Kids on Bikes?
Well, I will say that Even Footing Games is about to start a new season of our actual play podcast starting on Thursday of Kids on Bikes, of which Rick is going to be on it.
Totally not playing a self-insert character of me at 10 at all. 0%.
Yeah, I'm not made a character at all because I'm GMing the season, so
which is exciting.
That's what I want to say about it.
So all of the characters are self-insert then, is what I'm hearing.
Well, because I am only myself, so therefore that works out.
Yeah, fair enough.
Through TTRPGs, if I were to self-insert, what would happen is I would be a very rage-filled, chaotic person.
So a barbarian.
And now I've said that out loud, I think they are self-insert.
Oops, all self-insert characters.
TTRPG, cheaper than therapy, harder to arrange.
Yeah, that's accurate. So, Kids on Bikes, I mean, I've only played the one time so far. I kind of like that it's pretty simple. I don't know, Aaryn, I know you did your breakdown of the system. In like a few words, how would you describe kind of how it's different than maybe like Dungeons and Dragons?
I would say that it is a narrative system that's really about collaborative storytelling. It is where you also collaboratively build your world together as a group. It is really about narrative results. You do roll some dice, but for the most part, there aren't hit points. There aren't things that you really have to keep track of. With the exception of maybe your adversity tokens. It is a really great system for those who want less and more storytelling, I think.
Yeah, I think there were only a couple of times in the like slightly over an hour that we played that I actually had to roll. For the most part, it was just kind of, what are you doing?
I feel like the beginning session, though, is always that way. Because you're just mostly, meeting everybody.
Right.
But yes, definitely you don't need to roll for, I mean, like we've discussed in other things, but not on this stream, is that probably if you need your characters to be able to do something, don't make them roll.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there's no good point of that. I would say in this game, though, there is maybe a point of doing more rolls, which would be those adversity tokens are really going to help you be able to learn. Hi, baby, you need to go. Sorry, small child running in the room.
Yeah.
As happens sometimes. But yeah, you need the adversity tokens to be able to, have those when you really need to accomplish something. So you're learning from your mistakes, you're learning from your failures.
Yeah, which does not happen in Dungeons and Dragons basically ever. We just keep making the same mistakes over and over and expecting different results. So yeah,
that's pretty good for just generally teaching people to fail. It seems to be quite hard to teach.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, let's transition over to our character sheet and let's get started on a Kids on Bikes character. So, Aaryn, how do we get started on this? I mean, I know
I would say
went through it, but...
before you even start looking at a character sheet, you've kind of got to decide on your time period, your town, the age group you are wanting to play. I would say that before you even look, with Rick and our group, I gave everybody the character sheets, but I don't think anybody had even looked at them until after session 0. Yeah. We did 2 session 0, so that's a little complicated, but
it happens.
Yeah, I don't think anybody came in with anything on their sheets.
I don't think so. But that's okay. I mean, we made it all work, and That's part of the fun of it, is that collaborative, storytelling and, building our characters collaboratively. So what would be the first thing that we would start with then?
I would start with maybe time period and age of your people, maybe.
Yeah. So I currently have the teen character sheet pulled up because it does have like kid, teen. There's something else, and then adult.
There's a blank one for if you're not gonna follow the. Because this also, like, they have archetypes, but it's very easy to just decide for yourself,
right?
How you are going to build your character, which I hate it when people try to tell me how to build my character. So because I'm, just exactly. Am I allowed to build a very useless multi-class? Yes, I want to be able to do that.
Right.
I want to make a bard who has terrible charisma every time.
Because it's fun. Except for the fact that it makes you fail a lot of spells and stuff, but...
And in this game, it actually wouldn't be a terrible strategy, because if you can fail a lot, you'll just get a lot of adversity tokens. And then whenever a real clutch roll comes up, you just pile them all in the middle. Like, I need, to do this with a 15. Here are my 45 adversity tokens.
Hey, whatever works, right?
Yep.
So is this like, God, that was that Amazon series about the girls on, is it News Girls or something like that? Paper Girls.
Oh, yes.
That kind of vibe.
I know of that show, and it was definitely on my to watch list.
It's cute, by the way, but they're not doing a season 2, so.
Oh.
I love when shows do that, when you get hooked and then
yeah, especially when they put it on a cliffhanger. Yeah.
And didn't that show have like a 100% freshness, kind of like it was critically and popularly acclaimed?
Yeah, and it had a cute queer couple, and like.
See, there's your problem right there. That's why Amazon doesn't want to keep going, because.
And it was because I was a bit like, it looks like they're just kind of doing the Stranger Things thing, like just from the trailer, and then was like, I'll just watch an episode, see how it is. And it was very good. I really enjoyed it. Very annoyed. I binged it. I did not stop. When you're like one after the other, and then I had to go to bed and go to work, and then I got home and watched all the rest in a row. But yeah, but it's that, because I think the general vibe that people I've seen online play this game is like that 80s nostalgia, where these people who were raised in the 80s clearly did not have the parents I was born in the 90s. Why did I have to think about the year I was born in 94? And like my mum and dad did not let me play on the street outside our house, because it was on a hill and it went directly into a main road.
Valid point, though.
And we lived at the top of it. Oh no, I totally get it. But I didn't get that experience that other people seem to have got of like cycling to your mates, because my mates lived in the city and I lived in a village fucking 15 miles away.
That's totally an easy bike ride. I don't know what you're talking about.
You just rock up and you knock on the door and you're like, hey, can someone so play?
Right.
And then the both of you have to ride the 15 miles back.
Yeah, show up all sweaty and gross. And I
mean, I did that anyway.
Fair.
That's just who I am. I'm sweaty and gross.
It's a great introduction.
My personality traits. Yeah. Hi, I'm sweaty and gross. You don't need to know my name.
Nice to meet you.
I think that's I don't think those are things that we necessarily have skills wise for this character, but maybe those are some fun traits to have for like their quote unquote flaws.
There is literally a gross box you can check.
Oh, there is. Yeah.
Not sweaty, but there is gross. You can be a gross kid. I know. As a mom, I know that kids are extremely gross.
Yeah.
So my dad used to kind of encourage it. So I can turn my eyelids inside out. And I can also touch my nose with my tongue, which is a hereditary trait. Nice. So my dad used to try and encourage me to pick my nose with my tongue. And he also has informed me if I ever have children, he's going to teach them to pick their nose and present it and ask if anyone wants a bogey. So
it's good parenting.
Bit of spice for anyone watching. I've been raised by a very gross man.
Hey, that's okay. We're gonna make a very gross kid
with a great sense of humor. Yep, just all snot.
So
we're not going to give them acne because acne is not a sign of poor hygiene.
I would say that I do think that this game is not supposed. I mean, I bet you could, but this game is not supposed to have like super like probably cell phones are kind of the point of no return on this game. You don't want people to have basically computers in their pockets. Like there's a element of mystery and kind of figuring things out on your own and independence that was very much those of us, probably me born in the 80s and, you know, grew up in the early 90s, and were able to, you know, bike all over our towns and needing to be still, you know, back before it got dark kind of thing. Yeah. That we had an independence that is maybe not as common now for obvious reasons, but
yeah,
I think
sense.
that's what this
kids
game...
I've heard them being referred to as.
Yeah, latchkey kids are definitely.
I mean, the idea was that lots of kids their parents were both working and that sort of thing. I would say that the more important item here is that the kids need a good amount of freedom to be able to play like in the game that you're creating with your time frame. That they need to be able to wander their town, and they say like to make a town that's, you know, you're able to bike across, like the kids can definitely get from one side of town to the other.
Well, I mean, unless anybody's wildly opposed, why don't we just say mid-90s? You know, keep it the same as what our upcoming podcast season will be.
I could be.
A bit of tech. The joys of being also quite analog as well, because that was when things started to shift. It sounds like this game you can't really play beyond like the millennium that much.
I mean, early 2000s.
No, maybe. Like definitely not late 2000s. I'm trying to think of when I was given a phone.
Well, because like I know that I had a cell phone in like the mid 2000s, but it didn't have internet. And anytime I accidentally clicked, well, it had internet capabilities, but anytime I clicked on the internet, I had to like hit the cancel button so it didn't charge my parents a bunch of money. So, you know.
As the probably token old person on the stream,
only
just to
years older than
I'm
me.
The younger. I'm the youngest, so I'm only 28.
No, I was just gonna say I got a cell phone my senior year of high school, which was 2002, because I was, getting ready to go off to college, and it was a Nokia brick phone, and I texted by pushing the button 3 times, as you do.
Those were great because you could text in class by not and not look down at your phone because you know exactly where your fingers were.
I mean, even whenever I had the
an incredibly fast texter.
Yeah, even whenever I had the full keyboard phone, I could still do that because it had the physical keys and it was really easy to just feel.
Oh, what, like BlackBerry, Blueberry.
Yeah, mine was the the slide type phone. I forget what they call those, but yeah. Anyway,
was it a Motorola?
I think so. Maybe. I don't know.
Slide phones coming back in fashion is wild. I don't know why. I did not enjoy them. I would just sit and play with them until it broke.
The new Razor, the flip phone that came out, I think a year ago or something. Why would you do that? We have better phones now. Anyway.
But they were, I used to work in cell phones. They were, a lot of those flip phones, they could handle a lot more dropping. Some of them, not all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember being very jealous of my friend when she had one of the iPhone and playing Doodle Jump on the bus to school. So, but yeah, I think definitely before that kind of period. Hopefully there are no very young people watching who are like, oh, of course that didn't exist.
I mean, there probably are at least a couple, but it's fine. They're learning.
It's like
today.
Me with my granddad when I was a kid, and I was like, people had to manually wash their clothes. How?
You mean TV didn't exist back then? What?
Done that because I read a lot of Jane Austen, but couldn't understand the clothing part. So I was like, that seems like a lot of work. How do you know it's all clean?
You just guess. But anyway, mid-90s I think is a good place because, at least we all have a general idea of what that was like, whether we were old enough to know what was going on or if we just kind of have a brief memory of maybe the late 90s. That
was definitely where that's why I picked that era because in mid 90s I was about 12 or 13, so that is why I picked that because of self-insert, as we say.
And poorly.
A bit more I was just gonna say a bit more nature. I'm trying to think of as a kid, but yeah. Also in the UK, I don't know whether you guys got this, but I think it was the tail end of the 80s as well. We had I think you call them public service announcements, but they were the government putting ads on TV, which is don't let your child crawl into a fridge.
Similar, yeah. Not quite that.
Don't let your child crawl into a washing machine. Yeah, don't let them go out near a ravine. They will die.
The ads where it's it's 10 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock. Yeah, do you know where your kids are? But I feel like I was still pretty young. I was not old enough to have been out when this. So I think this was 80s. I think that it was. I think that it was probably even before my time when those kind of ads were on in the US.
Yeah,
I was alive for them, but not going out at that time. Not a 6-year-old on the move.
I definitely thought there'd be more people trying to put me into a van than there ever were.
Because your parents told you.
Well, also school, mostly school, and it was don't talk to strangers, and I was happily.
No, Not an issue.
I do remember.
I cried at like Disneyland when I was a kid. So for Americans, Disneyland Paris, because I am British. But I remember my parents wanting me to have photographs with these characters, and I didn't want photographs with them because they were strangers in costumes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know them, and why would I want a photograph with them?
Because
it really creeped me out.
Why.
Did anyone else think that drug dealers were trying to push drugs onto children, like freely, not with paying with them? Yeah. Just trying to trick you into because that's how my school definitely told us that drugs were. Like, people are going to trick you into thinking this is candy and just be giving it out. Like,
oh yeah.
And I was like,
that was definitely the dare
as an adult, I'm like, what? That's a terrible business.
What's okay?
Like, business plan. Do it with adults, sure, but children who don't have their own income.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever
those are the ones I want to give the stuff to.
Oh yeah. Now, whenever our dare officer would come, like, they were just talking about, like, here's all these different drugs. I'm like, wow, these sound really cool. Thanks for telling me about them.
So in the UK, we had something called Talk to Frank. Okay. And I can't remember exactly what Frank is short for, but it was a wonderful, like, I still use this resource whenever I'm like, what is this drug? Because it's an incredibly upfront and open explanation as to what they all are, what they do, how it makes you feel, and all of the downsides of it, and how they can be mixed with other things that will cause you, eventual death.
Like,
it's not quite that frank.
Yeah.
It's not quite that frank. It's like, talking about amphetamines and stuff, and like talk about marijuana, and it will be like, forgetfulness, paranoia, and all of that stuff. But in just a really matter-of-fact way, which I loved as a kid. It did make me think, man, I wish I could do like shrooms. But when I heard that you could have a positive or a negative trip, I was like, I will get the negative trip, so there's no point.
Yeah,
do you know who's the one echoing? Shall I mute to see if it's me?
No, I don't know. It's been doing weird stuff sometimes. Anyway, for probably legal reasons, I should say, we're not encouraging anyone to do drugs.
Drugs are bad. Don't do drugs.
If you're going to, be safe.
Unless you're prescribed them. Paracetamol and ibuprofen are okay. Do not take aspirin if you intend to drink.
That's solid advice. Anyway,
also, children, do not accept things that you don't know from people you don't know. There you go.
Yeah.
Also,
don't ever speak ever to people you don't know. This includes other children, adults, for the rest of your life.
And if somebody offers you candy or to look at a puppy, just run away.
Okay, it's me that has the echo.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it's in my ears. So
it's probably a me thing. I don't know. Anyway, so we've got our time period. What would be our next step, Aaryn?
So we picked our child age, which is a teen. So I mean, we're all building a character, or we're building one character together? Because normally
we do like one kind of collaborative character.
Okay. So because of the kind of a lot of the things that you do during your session 0 or your character creation is you're going to be asking, you want to know about the town. What is the town like? What is it known for? What's the industry in the town? Any notable people? You kind of ask each other, like, who's somebody a rumor about? and you ask, there are a whole like table of questions where you can roll to say like, oh, there's somebody who I feel, you know, really strongly understands me as a person, or like, I don't remember what these are.
Well,
but
I remember
a lot of
one
that.
One of the ones that I had was like, who's someone you have a bond that like basically you could never break, or like what did you bond over that, you know, is unexpected or something like that, you know.
Yeah, so I mean, you can definitely do like the first kind of boxes on the character sheet, like your name, your age, a fear, a motivation, flaws, and your description. But I feel like that's a very small part of the actual character creation. We could start there, I guess, and then we can pick an archetype and that is from the book.
I kind of like not going with the tropes because, you know,
Okay.
It's just we can do whatever we want then. So
Absolutely. So so if we start with kind of like, what's our teen gonna be like? Like
gross.
Like age
14 is when they're particularly gross.
Okay, 14.
And could be a boy or a girl. Boys tend to not shower as much.
Okay, so we're going to go with a 14-year-old boy, which I will admit is a particularly gross specimen.
I am currently, I work for the NHS, National Health Service. I'm writing a lot of stuff about, by the way, not from a clinical perspective, but using other people's knowledge. And it turns out, just in case there are any teenagers watching, you need to shower more. Like, this is medically been proven. You need to shower more. So when you hit puberty, your body starts producing more oils and sweat, and your sweat changes so that it's more smelly because puberty. So not only are you going to be more physically gross kind of looking and you're going to get more spots, but your hair is going to be substantially greasier. So if you used to shower like twice a week, you have to shower daily. You don't have to wash your hair daily, but shower daily. And then once you're through puberty, you can go back down. But whilst you are going through those bodily changes, it sucks, but you will stink. This has been a public service announcement from PleasureNerd. Thank you.
What about the name Gordy McPuberty?
Oh my god.
Pubert. I want to call him Pubert.
Okay.
Pubert Adams. I hope people get that reference.
Yeah, the terrifying child with a mustache from, was it the second movie?
Yeah, Family Values. Yeah, I mean, he was cute and pink for a while.
And so now our 14-year-old Pubert Adams needs to have a fear too.
I really want to say sweat.
I was going to say showering.
Yeah, that works. I mean, it's a sensorial thing, isn't it? Getting water over your head can be quite distressing. So
yeah, there you go.
I get it. But for the teenagers watching, remember, you should be doing this regularly. And using deodorant because your body is producing way more sweat than it used to.
Honestly,
this
I think
being a public service announcement with PleasureNerd.
Before even being a teenager, because holy crap, middle schoolers are some smelly creatures. Like, they're gross.
I have about to be 7-year-old, and like, I don't know if like But when he is quite sweaty, it is not pleasant.
So puberty can start from 9, just as a depressing perspective for people.
Yeah, no, my kid is not
between.
My kid is not in puberty, but he does run around and get sweaty frequently. And
no, that's totally fine. It's just
I can only imagine once he does hit puberty, it's going to be really extra special.
Yeah, just get him started on the deodorant now, and you'll be good.
Right? Motivations. So, I don't know what pubert's motivations are. Also, besides having a really sick mustache.
Also, I don't have that on my character sheet.
What?
Yeah, it goes from fear to hobby.
Oh.
Yeah.
Weird. Perhaps I went to, like, when I printed this off, I did not print it from the book. I printed it from the website. So like from, I can't even think of it now.
That one website.
Yeah, no, the people who make it that I cannot think of their name right this second, which is really lame.
Totally fine.
But yes, I went to their website. Jiminy Christmas, I'm sorry, I can't even think of who wrote this game. I'm going up to the top of my book so that I don't Renegade Game Studios. I went to their website.
There you go. I think that's where I got this from. I don't remember now, but either way, yeah, we can just not type it out and we can discuss it.
Okay. I don't know. Like, I think that motivation is going to be really depending on what's going on for your kiddo and like what they witness and what they want to figure out.
I think they want to get girls. Isn't that?
They do have a sick mustache, so
they probably need to be a little bit less gross, though.
It's bum fluff, isn't it? It's like when they've just started, and it's so fine and so gross, and you're just like, please keep shaving until it becomes thicker.
Yeah, the peach fuzz mustache. Yeah,
it's called bum fluff over here.
That is something.
I mean, is it not?
Yeah,
to be fair, I know a grown man who decided that he had a naturally very round face. I don't know whether you're familiar with Carl Pilkington, but it is that kind of face. And he wore glasses, and he decided that the best way that he was going to try and grow out his facial hair was to give himself a pedo-tash, where he hasn't got that lovely fullness of tash. It was very much still bum fluffy, and he was in his 30s, and it was like, sweetie, just shave. You will look so much better.
Yeah, I mean, like, do whatever makes you happy, but like, oof. Anyway, so motivation.
So girls is a motivation. I think we need another one. I'm trying to think of what my friends were like at 13 and 14. I want to kiss someone and get a girlfriend, and I'm bisexual, so I'm motivated by both boys and girls. But yeah, I'm trying to think.
Aaryn, what were you gonna say?
They're gross.
I was gonna say, I looked at the book, and it definitely looks like the one I have, where it says motivation, flaws, and description. But that's weird, and I don't know where the different one came from. But your backpack looks a little different than mine. So who knows?
Yeah. Anyway, any ideas, Aaryn, for a second motivation?
I honestly would leave it until you kind of knew more about their backstory. Like, it could be something as easy as, like, proving to their parents that they are mature now. They're not a kid anymore. Like, it kind of depends.
Or it could just be that they just want their approval, and it's sad.
Yeah. Whatever you want to do, I would just maybe wait on a second one till you knew a little bit about their backstory, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, that works for me. We'll go with the one for now, and if something else comes up,
gross. Regularly pick spots.
So your sheet, Rick says what?
Oh, hobby is next.
Oh. I mean, I think he's really into Pokemon. Or no, Pokemon's 1997. Never mind.
Well, we did say like mid-90s. So.
Pogs.
Would it be like Doom? Oh, Pogs. Oh God.
Oh, Pogs. Yeah.
Oh,
real into Pogs.
Yeah.
There was a time when they weren't ironic, just we all wanted them. I know you guys don't remember that time, but I was there for it.
I think I still have some Pogs somewhere, like at my
I knew house. A woman who had books of completely filled out, like, Pogs, which is the only reason I know they exist.
Or, what were those? So, I feel like maybe if he's trying to get girls, do you remember those kids with the sticks where they would like twirl a stick between two other sticks? And they had
kind of
like the
yo-yos and what's the other one? There's the
I don't remember what they were
called. Time egg timer looking thing in between the two sticks with the string.
This is more like it's like a third stick, and they're just using the two to keep it up and to keep it spinning. But I don't remember what those were called. But it is kind of the same crowd as like the yo-yo kids.
If I remember correctly, I think that, like, at least where I grew up, they were called like devil sticks or something.
Yes, that's what they were called.
Yeah. Devil sticks? What? Americans are weird. What's your obsession with phallic things?
No, sticks. Sticks.
Yeah. Sticks.
You devil dicks.
No.
that would be kind of on brand though.
It was odd. Just as a heads up, we're frozen in the stream, so Aaryn and I are frozen, and Rick, you are lovely and fluid. I look absent. Oh, now it's decided to go, but no, it's Aaryn, frozen with me looking down.
Aaryn has been frozen basically the whole time.
In a really nice pose, though. I'm just gonna try and get a better pose to be frozen in. I
mean, Ellie, you've been frozen a couple of times, but I don't know. It does weird things. The internet sucks sometimes. But yeah, so our hobby is Pogs and devil sticks.
Yes.
Devil's dicks. Super into the Antichrist.
So flaws.
It sounds like devil's dicks. I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe it's not Americans' obsession. Maybe it's the English ears.
It's my personal obsession with it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mum. I'm super into devil dicks.
We're not here to kink shame. It's fine. So flaws. I mean, we talked about being sweaty and gross. I can't remember. Were there like predetermined flaws you could pick from?
I don't think so. I think it's I don't remember that. There definitely could be somewhere and I'm forgetting it, but I think it's more just like,
they're like cowardly and stuff like that.
Yeah. Or is it jerk? I don't know. What it wanted to be.
I mean, is Pubert
prideful?
Oh,
lazy.
So if you pick a trope, they have possible strengths and likely flaws. And gotcha. So in the likely flaws, and so the reason I didn't get into this is because we didn't do these, but like cowardly, deceitful, envious, gloomy, insecure, paranoid, irrational, self-pitying, superstitious, neurotic.
Self-pity, 100%.
Okay.
He is borderline incel. He is like, why do girls not like me? I've not showered for 4 weeks.
And everyone knows making girls like him.
I'm making my own mask.
I'm feeling very sad for this character because I feel like we've made him like, I mean,
we've made him all the boys that used to be interested in me when I was a teenager. Like, this is my revenge on all of those guys that would not leave me alone.
Today.
Let's say he's also kind of boastful.
Yes.
Okay.
Oops.
And then our description is that he is a kind of a gross 14-year-old with a mustache. With a very
he wears
slight
it
mustache.
He wears it so proudly, and he like boasts about definitely prideful and like boasts that he's so grown up.
Absolutely.
Probably like the first kid in his class to have
claims that he doesn't get ID'd if he goes to try and buy alcohol.
Yeah, he's like,
really,
I can definitely get you some alcohol.
It's just because like his cousin works at the liquor store, and that's why he doesn't get ID'd.
Well, actually, no, it's because he's never tried.
That too. But if he did try, his cousin Levi would definitely be able to hook him up.
So in the UK, you can, if you're 16, you can order an alcoholic beverage with a meal. If you've got an adult with you. So that's, I think, where I don't know whether that's the same in the States, but here.
There is
wild.
There is some, at least one state, I can't remember which one. I want to say it's like Michigan or Wisconsin, because of course it is. Sorry if you're from there. But there was some state where you could go to like a bar as long as you're with your parent and you could drink. I don't remember if there was like
that
a
makes
limit
more
to how much you could
sense
drink.
to me.
But it is 21 in like 90.
Like, I genuinely do not understand that. Like, it's 18 here, and it's still like, you kind of think the only reason it's 18 is because that's when people get jobs. And you need to drink to cope with the fact you've got a job.
I mean,
which is a very healthy coping mechanism.
Yeah,
I don't think you've met Britain.
The only thing about it is that it is a kind of, I think, puritanical. The same reason we don't have legal weed in most of the states is because, we're legislating morality and therefore making it cooler and people more likely to binge drink.
Yeah.
Yep, those are just facts. Anyway, so we've got our description.
Don't drink, kids.
Unless you're being responsible and of age.
Unless you've got your parents with you and you live in the UK. Or France. I think France is younger. I think France is like 14. You can have a glass of wine with a meal with your parents.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But also, like, beer is disgusting. Like, it's so gross. And wine, unless it's like a Moscato when you're like a kid, which a Moscato is a very, very sweet dessert wine.
AKA
that's white.
The only kind of wine that anyone ever needs, obviously.
It's well, my tastes have changed as I've got older, but yeah, like when I was like 18, it was the Moscato, it was cocktails, and it was cider, but only fruit cider because normal cider tasted like alcohol.
Yeah, cider, like obviously we have it here, but I don't think it's anywhere near as popular as it is in the UK. Whenever we had some
It's
Welsh
so
rugby
good.
players, yeah, like
So
we had some
good.
Welsh players come over, and they love cider. That's what they would drink more than just about anything.
Just fermented apples. What's not to love?
We're American, and we have to be obstinate.
You have to have beer. Beer. I like beer. Sorry,
So-
that's from Kavanaugh's thing. Me and my husband quote it at each other whenever we want, or whenever he wants beer.
Fair.
And then he cries.
So we've got the rebellious is automatically checked on our whatever because of being a teen. We've got gross, like that one's already. I forget. Do we pick 2?
Yeah, I think we get one more.
Okay.
It's distorted on the screen, so I can't see, but it looks like one of them is kinked.
Kink? No.
It's underneath the one which has the enter thing. It looks kind of like kink.
Huh?
But I'm looking through the stream that's now gone lower quality for me. So
Of course. Yeah, I don't even know. So we've got cool under pressure, easygoing, heroic, intuitive, loyal, lucky, prepared, protective, quick healing, which I think is mostly like for the
It's for kids. Yeah. Skilled at is an adult one.
Makes sense. Tough, treasure hunter, unassuming, and wealthy.
what does unassuming do?
It's kind of like where people I really only know because I think this is one of the ones that I picked for my character. Like people underestimate you, so you can kind of get away with stuff.
I know what that's like. Cool.
Yeah, no, same. That's part of the self-insert that I was like, oh, yeah, no, I did this all the time as a kid.
Yeah, so unassuming is you may spend 2 adversity tokens to not be seen within reason. So
you can smell him. He can't be.
Yeah, maybe he could be tough. Or
I was thinking maybe
what's
lucky.
the hunter?
What did you say, Ellie?
What's the hunter one?
Treasure hunter.
Treasure hunter.
Yeah. I
can get lucky. That with pogs. Treasure hunter with pogs.
Yeah, treasure hunter is spend 1 adversity token to find a useful item in your surroundings.
Perfect.
I can see that for him.
Okay, we'll pick that.
Good little pubert.
So then
Puby is he's also.
Then if we're not doing a trope, we just pick which of our abilities we want to have what dice. Yeah, we get to use all of our normal dice, just not the percentile one. So we've got D4 through D20, and we decide what between fight, flight, brains, brawn, charm, and grit, which we want them to be good at and what we want them to be not great at.
I feel like he's probably got a lot of grit and like extremely
I think his
low
charm is a D4.
Yeah. I agree.
But his grit is the D20.
I'm not even going to bother because it makes it extremely tiny. Like it's unreadable even on my screen. Which I love that. So, but I think I can maybe write it in.
Yeah, I just have one that I'm writing on.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, yeah, we'll talk about it and we won't fill it out because it's going to be difficult for me today. Yeah, so what do we think for the grit? Which dice?
I think D20. I think he's gritty.
Yeah. And D4 for our charm because he's very gross, smelly.
Yeah. I think maybe a D12 for fight because I think, especially if he's smelly enough to get people to run away from him, he's probably pretty good at that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and also, like, you've either got a fight or you've got flight.
Right.
Like, when you're a kid that's likely to be bullied
for
having a name like Pubert.
So maybe he's got like a D10 in flight.
Yeah, we've got flight, brains, and brawn left.
Yeah, I think his flight is almost as good as his fight.
Okay, so D10. And then we've got a D8 and a D6 for brains and brawn.
Probably like a D8 and brawn and D6 and brains.
Okay.
Like he's not very smart, but he's kind of tough sometimes.
Yeah.
But he's also really good at running away.
The other cool thing about this character sheet is you get to, like, just within reason, you do have to check with your GM, but you can just fill up your backpack with stuff. So, like, if you want your person to have a flashlight, you kind of just put it in your backpack. So he's probably got pogs and devil sticks.
I also feel like he's probably the kind of kid who would have like a stink bomb.
Nice.
I was going to say bottled water. Why am I so sensible? Like, his mum makes sure that he's got a packed lunch.
Yeah, I mean, he's
and by
sweaty,
packed
so
lunch, I mean like
water.
an apple, some water.
An apple and a Lunchable.
Yes.
It's true. I mean, that is.
Are the Lunchables the Dairy
90s.
ones where it's like you've got the crackers, you've got the ham, and then you've got the cheese, and you're to stack them?
Yes.
I used to really want them all the time, and my parents were like, "No, you're getting a school hot lunch."
Yeah, no, Lunchables were the peak of cool in the 90s for sure.
Yes.
They just looked delicious, is what I thought, and I really liked the weird fake cheese.
Honestly, they're kind of not that great, but they were really cool.
No, they're not. Them as an adult. I still quite like Baby Bells though. Like, could eat those by the fistful.
That's a much higher quality than a Lunchable is. Lunchable, I don't think any of it's real food.
I think that's
no, I think about it. I think it's all highly processed.
Oh, for sure.
Which is the American way, 100%. But yeah.
I mean, you've got your lovely American cheese that's what, like 30% plastic?
At least.
Yeah. So
I don't mean to judge. I'm so sorry.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's not really a judgment if it's just true objectively. But I think you were starting to say like that's pretty much it for this.
Yeah, that's the character sheet. There's a lot more if you have other characters to go through with other people, but
yeah, and I mean something that we didn't do on stream that we kind of talked about beforehand, like whether we would or wouldn't, is creating the town or the city together.
Mm-hmm.
That was something I really enjoyed. It's kind of hard to do for this because we've only got the one character, and I think it would take us probably longer than we normally try to stream for to go through.
I mean, maybe we can do that another day.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like maybe next month, we could do that all sort of another time. Because I'm not going to lie, all the rumors that I remember from being a kid are how various adults were nonces. Which I really hope you guys know the term, because I don't know whether Twitch is going to get upset for me saying the actual word for it.
I mean, Twitch is not even going to care about us.
Oh, pedos.
Yeah.
Lots
you
lots
said it earlier, and they didn't.
Adults
take us down,
being
so.
accused of being pedos. So.
Yeah. Now you said it earlier because Twitch didn't take us down then.
I said pedo, did I?
Mm-hmm.
I've said nonce before.
You definitely said it in regards to his mustache.
Yeah.
But it did look like a pedo-tash, though.
That's okay. I mean, we're not encouraging that. We're if anything mocking them. So I think it's all right.
I will say, feel free to tune in to episode 0 of season 5 of Even Footing Games, because we will have a whole town character creation situation on Thursday.
Absolutely. And check that out wherever you get your podcasts. What were you saying, Ellie?
The segue tickled me, because I was like, well, speaking of that, and I was like, you have a whole town of pedos. That was what my brain translated that to. I'm sorry.
Thankfully not.
I didn't go there with our town creation, but I mean, no, you never know with our characters.
Nicer than me. You do. No, it sounds like a lot of fun and really interesting.
Yeah. Definitely check it out. Not even just because I'm in it. I think it's going to be a really fun season. So, anything you want to plug, Ellie, before we head out?
Me. Follow me. Everywhere. pleasurenerd.
That doesn't sound creepy at all.
I want you to physically follow me. Find me in the UK and follow me around.
For very legal reasons, that is a joke. Please don't. Yeah, and
also you'd have to kind of comb the whole of the UK. So good luck.
Yeah, it's much smaller than the States though, so more feasible. But yeah, so I'm Rick. I'm the game master for Hammer of the Gods. I'm sure you probably know that if you're here, but in case you don't, check us out as well. We do podcast stuff. We stream here. Tomorrow, I'm over on the Cantrips and Coffee channel for our Spelljammer game. And you can find Aaryn here the week after for our normal Strixhaven game. So that's all I got. So, well, I think that's a good place for us to end for today. Well, thanks everybody for coming out and watching, and we will see you all next time.